Hello everyone and welcome back to DIY Farm Ventures. If you haven't checked out my previous video on blackworm culturing yet, I highly recommend doing so. It lays the groundwork for everything we're about to dive into. In today's update, I'm sharing a challenge I encountered with the last design, explaining why I decided to change things up, and discussing the improvements. I'm excited about it, and let's jump right in and explore these changes together. As you watch the replay of my last video, you'll notice how much debris gathered at the bottom of the tank and on the filter. When I start moving the rocks, it becomes clear just how much sediment has built up inside them. While this sediment can initially benefit the worms, over the time it starts to break down, and after about a year, it develops a pretty unpleasant odor. I tried removing the sediment during the water changes, but it turned out to be a very tedious and challenging process. Inevitably, some of the worms were lost, sucked up accidentally with the hose or a pump, making the task even more frustrating. Now let's dive into details of the new design and see how these issues have been addressed. In my past couple of videos, I've been experimenting with an undergravel filter hybrid setup, and I'm loving how well it works. So I decided to use the same setup here. As you can see, I still have the plant roots and rocks, but now I've added gravel along with the undergravel filter. I didn't record the build process this time, but you can check out the videos that I made a few months ago to learn how to build your own filter. Although the design in that video is a bit different, it functions just the same. Let's take a closer look at how this setup is arranged. Focusing on this section of the tank, it actually looks a lot like my old setup, except for one key change in how I feed the worms. Now use a fine mesh bag to hold the food secured with a rock so it doesn't float away. The worms absolutely love it, and it really simplifies the feeding process for me. As I zoom out, you can see that I've added a layer of gravel along with the undergravel filter base. On the far right, you'll notice my DIY filter, which circulates 90 gallons per hour to create excellent water movement throughout the tank. The worms seem to really enjoy this improved circulation. I've also installed a small air stone at the back. You might not be able to spot it in this video, which adds extra oxygen to the water. Interestingly, the worms tend to stay hidden in the gravel and only come out when it's time to eat. There are actually many more worms tucked away. They're just gradually making their way out to feed. Let's explore this setup in detail and see it in action. After water seeps through the gravel, it enters the first compartment, where the pump pushes it into the second compartment. This design ensures that water only flows out of the pump section, not back into it. The next water passes through the filter media section, where all the particles are left behind, and only clean water returns to the tank. As you can see, the filter is pretty dirty now, so I'll remove it, rinse it off, and then put it back. This method makes cleaning the tank much easier than trying to remove sediment during the water changes. And if you're wondering if my worm culturing process works, I'm happy to say that it does. I purchased the initial batch of worms over a year ago, and they are still going strong. I feed my fish with worms only once a week, which allows the colony to continue growing without ever running out. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it inspires you to culture your own batch of worms. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe for future content. It really helps my channel out. Thank you and have a great day.